is the supreme entity. But how does he introduce himself to the world? As a servant of his devotee. That is Krishna's pride. I'm the servant of my devotee. I'm not so much, although he speaks, Mattaf Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya, but he introduces himself to the entire humanity as a servant of his devotee. That is Krishna. And this is what Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying, that you're such an amazing personality that you don't need anything. Anything we offer you is for our benefit anyway. It comes back to us as benefit. So what prayer can I offer you and satisfy you? You're already fully satisfied. See the connection? It's very sweet. What can I offer you? I feel very inadequate. But yet, I have the order of Lord Brahma on my head, and therefore I'm offering these prayers. And finally, in the purport, Prabhupada says, although Krishna is such a loving, compassionate, merciful personality, there are 4 classes of people who will not come to him. First category is called Mudha. Mudha literally means foolish. And the foolishness is described like this. They recognize that their life is nothing but useless labor, trying to make ends meet, but the ends are not meeting. Like in one sense, like Mother Yashoda, although she's not foolish, she's trying to make the ends of the rope meet. It's not meeting. And she's perspiring with beads of sweat, frustrated that she cannot bind Krishna. It's not happening. And she gives up, she surrenders. Oh, my dear Krishna. The foolishness is they don't surrender. I'll try it again. I'll try it again. I'll try it again. I'll bring my friends. I'll bring this and I'll bring that. Scientific advancement. I will try it again. So they're called mudhas because they're very, very foolish. They're trying something that doesn't work. And what is it that they're trying? Trying to be happy in this material world by their own machinations and attempts. So they're called foolish. And they're compared to donkeys. The next category, he says, is Nara Adhama. Naradhama means the lowest of mankind. The lowest of mankind is they know. They know that serving Krishna is my ticket to happiness. But they don't do it. And they say, I can't. I won't. Or, I know, but that looks great. Look at them. They're so attractive. They're happier. Look at me. I know, but look at that. They're called Naradhama. Because those who don't know, okay, but they don't know. But those who know and won't do, that's worse. They know the value of life, but they don't apply themselves to those principles of devotional service. The next category is called Mayaya Apaharita Jnana. Mayaya means by the force of Maya. Apaharita means stolen. Jnana. Their knowledge has been stolen away by Maya. And so, they profess to the world, this world is purely mechanistic. There is no God. There's just universal material laws that can be explained in a reductionist formula. You can mathematically explain everything. The whole idea of God and religion is just to keep people in fear and make them do what the church wants them to do. Therefore, you need scientific advancement for happiness. Prabhupada would quote this story in communists when Russia, I think, was going through a severe famine. There was no food. People were lining up in front of the stores and churches for food, and they were not getting any. And the government will say, see, your God is not supplying food. Now come to us, and here's all the bread and milk. So who's greater? Oh, government. Very good. And Asuram Bhava, Ashrita are not so far from these Maya Aparita Jnanis. Asuram Bhava means I don't need any scientific evidence to prove that God doesn't exist. I say God doesn't exist. I say that I am the greatest. I don't need any God. That's like Prabhupada writes, atheistic nature of demons. So I don't need to surrender to God. Surrender to some higher being? Come on, get out of here. This is not for me. And so Prahlad Maharaj calls them avidusha. Avidusha means rascal or ignorant. Either genuinely ignorant or deliberately ignorant. And therefore avidusha and karuna words appear one with each other, one next to the other. That for these ignorant persons, Lord Nrsimhadev is always very, very compassionate. He's not looking for manam, respect from anyone. So Prabhupada writes, if someone respects Krishna, it's for their benefit. If they don't respect Krishna, it doesn't matter. Krishna's respectability does not reduce because someone did not glorify him. In this world, if a particular respectable person is not given the respect by others, his or her respectability falls. But he's saying that Krishna is not like that. Whether you glorify or don't glorify, it doesn't matter. Krishna is always glorious. Any comments, questions? Charanista?
Thank you, bro. I just had a question on that last point, that sometimes we hear, for example, in the Varaha Leela.
But say it again, sometimes.
We hear, for example, in the Varaha Leela, that Hiranyaksha pierced the Lord with his sharp words.
Yeah.
Do you recall that passage where he's fighting Hiranyaksha?
Yes.
And they're kind of, I guess, doing the transcendental trash talking.
Yeah.
And
even Varahadev talks trash in that sense. Transcendental
and then
trash.
Hiranyaksha says some very thing, and it says the Lord was pierced at heart by hearing his words.
Yeah.
So Krishna is not affected by what the living entities say, but here we hear that he was pained. I was wondering if you could comment.
There is also another reference. Now it is sweeter, because now we are talking rasa. There's also a reference where on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Bhishma Dev is glorifying that Krishna had blood from all his pores. His hair was ashened by all the dirt. And all these arrows that Bhishma Dev was firing, Krishna was taking it to protect Arjuna. I mean, so really no arrow should pierce. We hear from Ishopanishad, Ashna Viram. It does not have veins, so there's no blood, but every pore was with blood. So it's part of the Leela that the words of Hiranyaksha were inciting within Krishna the chivalrous fighting mood. Although that doesn't mean that Krishna went home and Varaha went home and said, you know, I've had a bad day today. Hiranyaksha called me all these words. I'm feeling very bad. Actually, I'm not like such a person like that. You know, why is he speaking like that? He has all these unfounded rumors about me. Yeah, it's like, it's the chivalrous mood that Krishna is exhibiting as part of that rasa. It's chivalrous. So it exists in him, but it's not like that's he broods on it or.
Question also then in regards to the devotees also have hearts. Sometimes we think that the sadhu...
devotees also have hearts?
Yes.
Once in a while they have.
Sometimes we think that the sadhus, they're totally unaffected. So whether or not they're, little exchanges and things, well, what does it matter? They're on the transcendental platform. For example, Vidura, when he was... I'm not sure if this is correct, but I believe when he was very much insulted, it describes in Bhagavatam he was pained at heart. He was very, very deeply pained.
Right.
I don't really know. I don't know the purport of that, but maybe you can comment on this topic, because sometimes we think, oh, this person's transcendental, so it doesn't affect them. But the devotees also have a heart. They do feel.
Let's separate the category of Vidura and the pure devotees for the moment. Let's talk about them. Like Prabhupada would get angry, or Vidura was pained in the heart when Duryodhan was speaking really nasty things. So it's described that their pain is not about themselves. Their pain is to see how much color, how much poison was in Duryodhan. It was so painful to see that. And Vidura's decision to leave was, if I leave, then this fellow will not speak more. If I stay, he will continue. And that's going to hurt him even more. So I'm going to leave. That's how Vidura leaves. Vidura is not like, oh, he said some nasty things and they were bothering me. Because they don't have the sense of, in this verse, twice is the reference to the word manam. So manam means respect. It also is referred to as self-respect. So they're not the persons who have that sense that, oh, he said like that, and I was hurt. That's a bodily conception. So Vidura is free of it. Vidura's pain was, my gosh, Duryodhana is so nasty. And if I don't walk away, he will continue offending and offending and offending. And it will incite even more in him the poison. So it's better to walk away. So in Vidura's case, he walked away. In Krishna's case, he separated Shishupal's head from the body after 100 offenses, saying if he does more, then he's going to get even more offensive, like that. Or Lord Chaitanya's anger was because Madai threw the pot on Lord Nityananda. The anger was, my gosh, that's an offense. So each personality will respond accordingly. But it is for the benefit of the person. Because the nature of, you heard the verse, Titikshava Karunika, Suhrida Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatra Shanta, Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. So when they say Ajata Shatra, means they don't have an enemy who's ever born. Or an enemy has never been born to them. Although people are animus, or they have animosity. From the sadhu side, from the sadhu side, it is their karunika. And so they don't take offense. They only try to see how it is, how to uplift the person. In different times, they'll do different things. Anything from the ladies' side? Words of wisdom?
Ew. Hare Krishna, thank you for your class. So in this points in question is relation to when Prabhupada says in this purport, one who does not dedicate everything to the Supreme Lord is described in this verse as a avidusha, a rascal. So Prabhupada kind of tells it like it is in Soda Bhakti Siddhanta, like you said, no duplicity. So this reminds me of one quote, one person I really appreciated and kind of clicked everything in regards to this sentence by Prabhupada. He said, whatever a person is most devoted to, that's his religion. And so you were mentioning like Facebook, you know, Facebook Prima, Twitter Prima, or different religions. Exactly.
I'm making my offering.
Exactly. When I heard this quote, it really clicked for me. I'm like, oh yes, whatever I'm most devoted to. Am I devoted to Christian consciousness, or I'm devoted to so many other things other than Christian consciousness? And the reason I bring this up is because this point comes up a lot of times, is that we hear so many classes throughout the years, especially in the beginning of my Christian consciousness, you know, people distinguish which Vaishnavas to hear from and which ones not to. And so I remember in my personal experience when someone would try to speak Krishna Katha to me, you know, a regular devotee, not a like Bhagavatam class giver. You know, I was thinking, you know, based on these classes, you know, should I hear from you, or this was my contemplation, should I hear from you or shouldn't I? But then I was thinking to myself, you know, I would go home and be, you know, devoted to, you know, a few hours of, you know, Christian consciousness, but also like porno prima. And then I come to the temple and, you know, contemplate, you know, whether I should hear them or not. And so I'm thinking, you know, I was like, you know, this is actually my religion. And so then when I start questioning my own faults, then I start, you know, not distinguish between who to hear from and who not to hear from. And that's why I really appreciate when Prabhupada said, he said that in the final conclusion, there's one Vaishnava we shouldn't listen to, and that's Maya. Prabhupada told some of his disciples, you know, exactly. Prabhupada told some of his disciples.
Is there a question?
Yeah, there's a question there. He told some of his disciples, you know, to follow the 4 regular principles. But if Maya tells them not to, there's nothing they could do. That's why Prabhupada said, don't be surprised who goes. Don't be surprised who goes, be surprised who stays. So it doesn't matter what people say, you know, listen to this Vaishnava or don't listen to this Vaishnava. And the final conclusion, we're more devoted to porno prima, Facebook prima, this prima. So my question is that what's the demarcated distinction between what constitutes anartana vritti, porno prima, movie prima, this prima, everything but Christian prima, and what Vaishnavas to hear from? Because my understanding is that the only Vaishnava we shouldn't listen to is Maya. And so we hear, you know, from verses like Adi Lila 8:16, Bahu Jamakare Yadi Shravanam Kirtana Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Primadan, that even if you chant Hare Krishna for millions of births, if you offend devotees or you're infected with the 10 offenses, you won't get the Krishna prima. And in that purport, Prabhupada mentions that, you know, one should strictly follow Lord Chaitanya's verse of being more humble than a blade of grass, etc. And so we can hear from Bhaktisiddhanta's pastime.
With straw in my teeth, I'm asking you, is there a question?
Yeah, I said, what constitute the demarcated distinction between what constitute anartana vritti? We hear the religion of porno prima.
That went so fast. Can you slow it down?
Yes. What constitutes anartana vritti?
What constitutes anartana vritti?
The demarcated distinction. And then hearing from certain Vaishnavas.
This was your question yesterday, no? To Acharya Nishta?
Yes, but...
It's the same question that repeats every day?
Yeah, in Prabhupada's purport to 225, he says things must be repeated in order to understand the matter thoroughly. So this is Prabhupada's statement. That's why we hear Trina. And even Adilita says, Orva Bahu Kari Kohan Shuna Sarvalo, Namashute Ganti Parakante Eshlo. One should repeatedly follow Lord Chaitanya's verse of being more humble.
Can you please repeat the question? What is the demarcation between anartha nivritti?
Yes.
And
which Vaishnavas to hear from and which not, because we hear that all the time.
To hear from.
Because the main Vaishnava we hear from is Maya all the time. So what's the... It does make sense, you know, it doesn't make sense to you.
When you say we...
Okay, my question is...
Hold on. Now my turn to talk. So now you hold on. When you say we, porno, movie... Can you please not say we, because that's including
When I say we, I meant me. Just like you the other day, I meant me. So my question is that what's worse? Listening, being devoted to porno or being devoted to certain Vaishnavas that people say we shouldn't listen to? I can't make the question more clear. If people want to answer, it's more clear than me.
It is a fallacious question. It's constructed in an improper manner.
It's proper to me. That's why I like Bhaktisiddhanta. He says when Bhagavan is merciful to me, he'll send millions of people to speak uncountable words to me just to teach me tolerance. So my question can't be any clearer. I mean, my question is completely clear. So if you don't want to answer, or anybody can answer it. I appreciate anybody to answer it. It doesn't matter who answers it.
Okay.
My question is completely clear.
Okay, can I say something now? Can I say something now? Are you willing to hear? Are you willing to hear?
I'm all ears.
Okay. Part of asking a question is also the readiness to hear. When you just go, which basically tells that I'm speaking, but I'm not hearing, I'm not willing to hear anyone. I'm asking, but I don't want to hear. So just slow down.
Repeat the questions like 4 times. I did. I'm willing to hear.
Slow down. My turn to speak. My turn to speak. When I give you the chance, you speak. I gave you the chance, I was quiet. Now let me speak. And I'm saying the question is constructed fallaciously.
I disagree.
Okay, that's fine. You asked me the question, I'm answering. And that's my answer. Now, which is more dangerous? Should I continue hearing Maya, or someone tells me don't listen to a Vaishnav? Come on. The question doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It makes sense to you. Oh,
That's
so
the
it
thing,
doesn't make
there's
sense to me.
disagreement.
So I am going to bow out, and you can ask this, whoever is the fortunate speaker tomorrow.
I'll keep asking it, for all
Yeah.
eternity until somebody answers it.
Yeah.
For all
or,
eternity.
even better, take it offline. Ask Acharya Nishta. Sit down with him at breakfast.
No, people need to hear these stuff.
And
That's why
ask him.
Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, they said things openly. They weren't afraid. There's no disrespect. It doesn't matter if you raise your voice or not. Krishna didn't give me a soft voice for a reason.
I'm going to end class right now if no one else to say anything.
So they all open. None of this behind the back stuff. None of
Srila
this
Prabhupada
duplicity.
ki jai. You get very agitated very soon.
No, I'm happy. I